What did we learn today about what it means when Kevin McCarthy makes a deal with Democrats on legislation?
Well, good evening, Lawrence. Thanks for having me back. I'm still mixed on the outcome here. On one hand, I want to be optimistic and say there are now 35 Republicans, as you pointed out, that have chosen to do the right thing. On the other hand, there's a part of me that says we're just trying to form a commission. We're just trying to do what people have always done after a big crisis or a problem, like we did after 9/11, is form a bipartisan commission to look at the facts and to figure out what went wrong and to prevent it. So I don't want to give too much credit. I think I'm going to choose to be on the optimistic side of this to say that there are more folks who are choosing to do the right thing. Yet, again, though, we have Kevin McCarthy, who has made himself very clear that he will do whatever Donald Trump asks him to do.
Let's listen to what Senator Schumer said about this.
What the Republicans are doing, the House Republicans, is beyond crazy. To be so far under the thumb of Donald J. Trump, letting the most dishonest president in American history dictate the prerogatives of the Republican Party will be its demise. Mark my words.
This bill may not make it through the Senate. It will need 10 Republicans in the Senate to get to 60 votes to move it through the Senate. Mitch McConnell has now announced that he is opposed to it because he doesn't say this, but obviously because Donald Trump is opposed to it.
Well, Lawrence, how many reasons do we need to end the filibuster? Yet we have one more to add to the growing pile of lists to end the arcane Jim Crow era procedure that remains an impediment to really any progress in American society and politics at this point. But, you know, Kevin McCarthy and Mitch McConnell continue to try to make a deal that their vested interest is with Donald Trump to try to win elections. Kevin McCarthy made a deal by commissioning John Katko to negotiate with this. You know, he said basically, he doesn't think he's going to be able to work out a deal. That's why he commissioned this, because he wanted the delay. He had come up with excuse after excuse as to why they didn't want to agree to this commission. The final thing he tried to bet on was that they would not be able to work out a deal. Something miraculous happened. They worked out a deal, which is actually pretty surprising in Congress right now. And that caught Kevin McCarthy off guard. He didn't know what to do, but he was just left in saying, I'm not going to support it anymore. He didn't really have a good reason for saying that, but that's where he is.
Let's listen to what your colleague Tim Ryan of Ohio said on the floor today. He's now a candidate for Senate in Ohio. Let's listen to this.
I want to thank the gentleman from New York and the other Republicans who are supporting this and thank them for their bipartisanship. To the other 90% of our friends on the other side of the aisle, holy cow, incoherence. No idea what you're talking about. If we're going to take on China, if we're going to rebuild the country, if we're going to reverse climate change, we need two political parties in this country that are both living in reality, and you ain't one of them. I yield back the balance of my time.
Congressman Crow, that sounded like the frustration of the entire Democratic side of the House, speaking through Congressman Ryan's voice.
Yeah, you know, listen, I had to call my wife the night of January 6th when I was caught in that chamber. A police officer is dead. 140 others were brutally beaten, lost eyes, lost fingers. People that thought that they weren't going to go home to their families that day. The United States Capitol was taken over by a riotous mob. You have Kevin McCarthy, who literally hours after that happened stood up and gave a speech and called me out by name and thanked me for holding the breach and helping to prevent the chamber from being overtaken by the mob. Then you fast forward a couple of months and none of it happened, or didn't happen the way we thought it happened, or our eyes are deceiving us from what the actual video footage shows. I am really at a loss for words for how this is happening and the extent to which they are trying to sweep this all under the rug. But I'm not going to let it happen. My colleagues aren't going to let it happen. We know what happened on January 6th. We're going to preserve that memory. And we know that accountability and truth is necessary for us to move forward as a country.